Welcome back to Quiet Money Podcast, the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life. Stay tuned. We coming up next. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Quiet Money Podcast. I'm your host, that's Quiet Money Podcast. It's the number one show for going through the ups and downs of life. I got my co-host with me as always. She's got a Quiet Money Podcast hoodie on, which I love. I'm going to have to get me one. But how you doing, babe? What's up?
Good. Hi, my name is Randy. I am the co-host of Quiet Money Podcast. Do I normally say co-host or do I say host?
I think you say co-host. I don't know what you say.
It's been a while. I'm the co-host of Quiet Money Podcast with my handsome husband, Dax.
Hey, so look, straight up, I like your hoodie. I need to get me one of them. You know what I mean?
I thought you didn't like it.
No, the thing is, the image at first, when you're doing something for the first time, you don't be confident in it. Like, you're not sure about it. So when the image was like created, I was already critiquing it. Like always from the beginning, I was looking at it like, it should look like this. It should look like that. I was never happy with it. But now that I see it on the shirt, you're wearing it, you know what I mean? It's a pride thing always as a man, you know what I mean? You believe in everything that we're doing. So it's just kind of dope. So I actually love it. Like, you know what I mean? I want to make sure I get me one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Self-promotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's simple and it's a nice hoodie, you know what I mean? And the print and everything's straight.
Thank you.
So I like it.
All right.
How you doing, man? What's up?
I'm good.
You
Busy.
got your coffee. I ain't got none,
my coffee.
but it's all right. So what's been going on? How's your week and everything? Got some things I want to chop up. You know what I mean? Been an up and down week or two. It's been a little while since we poured it, but it's definitely been some ups and downs. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like we always do. But before I go, what's up with you?
It's been a productive week. I feel very productive because the implementation for the tax stuff, it's coming along as I knew it would once you got involved in the process. Let me tell y'all, I have spent, when did we first download this new software? It's
probably like 6 months ago.
6 months trying to figure something out. Dex takes a vacation from work, and on his vacation, he starts to implement this program. And I swear within a week or two, what are we like 80, 90%?
Probably like, we got to test it out. You know what I mean? And look at some of the final stuff, but probably like 80 to 90%. Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
And I've been sitting here looking at this thing for 6 months, struggling on the phone with the people, trying to figure out how to implement.
But see, you know what though? That's just the impact of me not being able to be as invested as I want to be all the time because I'm also working, and we'll talk about that. But I'm glad that you're happy with it. You know what I mean? I did put the time in to meet with the people and go through it. But let me break this down a little bit for anybody that don't know what we're talking about, right? So if you got a business like we do, we got two businesses now, but for our existing accounting business, we do taxes and all other things as well, financial services. Check us out, based in accounting. But every business that you have has some type of process. You know what I'm saying? So for you guys to make money, for you to execute a transaction, it starts somewhere and it ends somewhere. Starts from either customer acquisition. How do you get your people? How do they get through your process? How do you provide them a service or a product? How do they pay you? Whatever. The whole goal is you want to have something that's consistent, repeatable, efficient, limits risk and things that could go wrong. Like, this is how you be successful over time. You know what I mean? It's not just saying, oh, I'm gonna have a business. I'm gonna, provide this service or do this product. It's literally like, can you sustain it? Are you actually making money when you're doing it? Is it the most efficient to you, right? Can you scale it? We need processes for that. Now, what we have continued to learn through our own experience is that we have to continue to improve that process. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at what's not working, change some things. You know what I mean? One of the things that I know that was challenging for us because we work with like taxes is just having to communicate with people all the time, having to get information from them, send them information, ask questions about the information that we got, make sure they're comfortable with what we're providing them before we file it. It's all types of communication that needs to be happening, right? And it's like manual.
Yeah, it was fine when it was 10 clients.
It was fun, right? That's what I'm saying. And that's the other point. If you're not forward thinking, you be thinking everything's good, but it's only good for where you're at right now. But we don't always want to be where we're at. We're trying to grow. We're trying to go to another level. We're trying to progress. So that process has to change. And sometimes because you ain't at that size yet, or you haven't grown, you don't even see the inefficiencies in what you're doing. But beautiful blessing, you know what I'm saying? Well, got more clients now, much more business. We had experiences that we love. We had some that
we don't love
at all, you know? And some things have worked and some haven't. Now, with this tax software that we got, it's really going to help with the efficiency and communication with people. That's what I'm really, really excited about from what I've seen. It's a lot of automation in it. So a lot of those manual steps, here's what I need you to fill out. Here's how I need you to fill it out. This is what I need you to pay me. Why? This is exactly what you need me to do. A lot of that manual stuff is gone now. Mm-hmm. And I love it. And on top of that, the customer experience is better. So it's less for us to do manually, but they actually get to see more into where things are. Because they're getting these automated notifications. If we're actually working on something, automatically let you know it's in progress.
They don't have to send an email or call.
They don't have to ever ask. Where is it? That's the beautiful thing. So our business, accounting and taxes, is not as easy as going to freaking Burger King or somewhere else and knowing that you're either in line, waiting for your food to come out. It's very simple where you are in the process. It's a simple chain. You know what I'm saying? Ours is not as easy if you think about it. We're doing people's taxes. We have to get a lot of information from them, but then also from documentation. Because what people tell you all the time ain't the full story anyway. Mm-hmm. So you say, hey, this is what you told me. But I might look at your return from last year, and now I got to ask you a whole bunch of stuff. That's getting a little bit more efficient now. Yeah. I'm happy about that. But for people to be able to have their own profile, be able to see where things are real time, less chance for manual errors, that's dope. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we did that. Now, we got to test it. You know, we're going to do that. But I'm excited about it. And I'm glad that I was able to figure it out. But I needed some help. Because I did look at it on my end and I wasn't getting it. But once I got on the call with them, I got it. So anybody that's a client of Base and Accounting right now, if we do taxes for you, I would expect an even better experience than you've had in the past. And the great service is still going to be the same. The expertise is still the same. We still got EA, Miranda, that looks at everything. So it's the same quality of work, but we're looking to increase the experience that you have and make it efficient and make us better. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. So I'm glad you feel good about that. You know what I'm saying? But what else is going on with you?
What else? I've been slacking on my workout, man.
Me too. I ain't been working out.
We need to get back. I don't know what's going on.
And it don't take much.
I know.
It don't take much. It just takes a little bit, one day, 2 days. Once on that third day is a wrap.
A few pods ago, we were talking about how great we felt.
Exactly. That's the up and downs, dude. That's the up and downs. But guess what? I could just do what most people do and just take a little Instagram clip on them days that I am working out and make you think that it's about it like that. But it's not. I just came from 2 sets of birthdays. My son just went 11. My other son just went 7. A day apart. All pizza, cake, ice cream, and sodas. Right
after the holidays.
Right after the holidays. Pizza, there's a steady diet. Pizza, freaking ice cream, cake or cupcakes, and soda. That's the real life.
And there's another party tonight.
The team's coming over tonight. What's on the menu tonight? Pizza. We ain't got no ice cream there. No. But we have cake. Mm-hmm. Soda. Same thing.
Have to get a salad or something.
Same thing. But, you know, that's real life. And that's what's happened in the last week or two. We're going through the holiday season, which I think a lot of people could relate to because you want to eat in the holidays, especially out here in America. Like, it's cold. I'm inside. I want to eat. I'm watching sports. I'm doing things with family. You're eating all that home-cooked food, not even just on the day, but multiple times afterwards. And then we got our kids' birthdays. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard.
And do you realize it's been, over the last 4 weeks, it's been like 5 events. My birthday party. We hosted Christmas dinner. The boys' birthday, that's 2.
Yeah, your birthday party set it off right, though, still.
And then tonight, with the soccer team coming over.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Right after this, tonight, we get right back on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do.
Okay.
That's what we got to do.
I'm looking for you to lead the way.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing where it's like, it's not about us getting be right all the time, but you got to catch yourself.
Yeah.
Catch yourself. Don't sit there living life like you ain't about to dip. You are getting dropped, but like, are you going to catch yourself? Is somebody else there that cares enough about you to catch you before you fall too much? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if we go forward the way we did like the last 10, 15 days and did another 15 days of that or another 30 days of that, we wouldn't even be looking the way we're looking right now doing this show today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we would have to catch ourselves because 30 days from now, we'll have a larger problem. You know what I'm saying? We would have a larger problem to fix, and we would have even more bad habits to try to shake to go fix it.
Yeah.
So we knock it out now, just like we did 3 days that turned into the holiday and the birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we can flip it the other way. You know what I'm saying? And we can do that. I promise you that.
All right.
We can do that. Anyway, anything else going on with you this week? You know what I'm saying? One thing that I do want to, before you even get into that deal though, this week and even last week, I've been back at work, been busy again, real busy time of the year. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of reminded me again of like how much having a job takes out of you, done. Period.
Depending on the job.
Depending on the job. But if you have a demanding job, which I believe I do, you know, what it takes out of you, not the job itself, but what happens afterwards. And I've realized that even more. And it could be a job, it could be something you're doing, but anything that's like demanding on you, it's not often that particular thing that's the issue because you give your attention and focus to that. So you do succeed in that. You see what I'm saying? But what happens is like the trickle down effect of the things you ain't got time for, the things you don't necessarily want to do. You're a little agitated. You want to have a moment to yourself. All types of like trickle down effects that ain't there when we're in Portugal, that ain't there when we're sitting here pouring together, when we're at the games. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just realized like these things that we have in our life that demand a lot of our time, a lot of ourselves, we have to just always be careful of like what the trickle down effect is. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
And you have to put more effort to limit what's happening in that trickle down effect. For example, when I'm on the holidays, my son wants to play the video game. You know what I'm saying? My son wants to go outside, kick ball or whatever. The trickle down effect of me not having a lot of demand on me that day is that I'm giving him good energy. I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, let's go play. You know what I'm saying? So he feels that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful experience for him. Now, on a different day, and I very much appreciate my job and everything with it, but on a different day, I'm had a long day of work. I've been busy all day. I've succeeded at it because I gave it my all. I gave it my time and everything, but I don't have the same response at the end of the day when he wants to go play the game or go outside. Now his experience is different, but I got a responsibility every time to try to put more in it to get it right. And sometimes I don't. But why does he have to get the different experience and why is that okay? Is what I've been thinking. Because maybe it's not okay. I might tell myself it's okay, like, yo, I'm had a long day at work. It's okay that I don't want to play this game right now. That's what we tell ourselves. But what am I really saying? I'm not able to find a way to make it still a priority to make him happy and see me excited to do it with him, which is what a kid needs. You know what I'm saying? Now, giving myself a break, it's hard to do. It's hard to be the same, but I'm just realizing like, yo, that impacts me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everything has a trickle down effect. And if I wanted him to have the same experience, I got to do something specific to get myself ramped up to do it. You see what I'm saying? And that might be take 5 minutes quick, go get a shower. I don't know what it is. It might be something, go get a shower, sit on, relax for a couple minutes, drink some water, whatever. Maybe get that workout in that we ain't been doing. You know what I'm saying? But I got to show up for him the same. You know what I mean? I owe him that, but I'm not showing up for him the same. And my advice for people is like, when people mean a lot to you, especially like your kids, your family and stuff like that, don't let the things that you have to do to get by and everything make you feel like you don't have to show up the same for them. You just got to put some more effort in. You got to get some more skills, but let's stop doing that where people get beat up and left to the wayside or picked up or put down or have to go through the up and down experience of how you're treating them because of how you're managing your own responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to manage them better than that. And I think that's what you be trying to touch on with me. You got to manage your responsibilities better, where it's not just like, all right, I checked off work, I checked off the business, I checked off this, but everybody got an up and down experience with you. One day you're treating them good, you're attentive, the next day you're not. That's not okay. Because they ain't did nothing. You know what I'm saying? And they might need you. So I'm just been thinking that, and I got to keep working on that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, one thing that happened this week, switching gears completely, which we don't always talk about news and stuff, but we got to talk about this because, you know, as I've been like you, falling into the algorithm sometimes. I'm on my phone one night, I'm on YouTube or whatever, and, you know, I see this little clip pop up on Club Shay Shay, right? I see this little clip pop up on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, right? And I don't even follow it, but it pops up on my phone, and I'm watching it, you know, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's a Katt Williams clip. It's hilarious, naturally, you know what I'm saying?
We are Katt Williams.
And it's like going on some comedian or something for stealing this joke. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, hold on, all right, you know, whatever. But I didn't pay it no mind. Then I go on Instagram. And I'm scrolling. I feel like every other post was some type of clip or comment about this Katt Williams interview thing, right? So anyway, we finally sit down. I got to talk about this thing just for a little bit. I want your opinion on it. I want to see what you got from it and everything. But it was so many things that I'm already watched it like probably once and a half, I would say, like different spots I came back to. But me and you, we sat down and we was working one day and played. What was this? A couple days. When was this? It was a couple days ago. We put the interview on Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay's podcast with Shannon Sharpe, right? And first off, I want to know what you think about it, but I think it's the greatest interview I've ever seen in my life. I swear to God, it's the greatest. I didn't think I could be attentive to something like that for over 2 hours. And it was not one dry spot in it. It was not one moment that just didn't have you like really focused in on it. Like, and it was just, to me, it was super entertaining, funny, but it was some things in it that just felt like so real and passionate about it. And it just was like one of them moments that I just think you would have had to say, like, I had to be there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what did you think about the podcast when you first saw it? Or like,
I enjoyed it. I really did.
You did?
I did. And I'm a Katt Williams fan. So, and have been for a long time. You remember when we saw him live?
I did. Did I ever even tell you, before I even dumped too much into your podcast, did I ever even tell you how I even heard about Katt Williams then?
Was it from me?
No, but I wanted to go to the show with you, but like my cousin back in Birmingham used to go to school at Howard University, and I went over there one time, and one of my boys, he's actually passed away now, but one of my friends was there from Bermuda, and I didn't even know that him and my cousin knew each other, and they're in the dorm room watching Pimp Chronicles then.
Oh, man.
And I'm sitting there like, this is like, I guess 2006, like I'm in university or whatever, and I never laughed so hard in my entire life. And it was like the best stand-up I've ever seen. It was just funny from beginning to end type thing. And then me and you went to a show. I think we've been seeing him twice, right?
Has it been twice?
I think we're seeing him twice. I want to say we're seeing him twice.
I
know we're definitely seen him once.
Man, I know we've seen him once. I don't know. I
feel like we saw him twice when he was like a while back, and then more recently in DC. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, fast forward to this podcast. Listen, man, what caught my attention? First off, your boy walks in, right? You know, do the little introductions and all that. And I swear, as soon as your boy was like, hello, welcome to the show, yada, yada, your boy jumped right into the thing of like, I can't believe you have all these people that came up here and just lie straight up in your face. Like, this is like 3 minutes in, then. And he's sitting there like, how you let all these people come up here and lie straight to your face for over and over again, yada, yada. And he just jumps right into big after big after big about people stealing his jokes, about people's wives being light-skinned, about like all types of craziness. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like,
make you think, right?
It makes me think. I'm like, he's been holding that in, You know what I mean? I think it's either holding that in, or when you sit there in those situations and you see people portraying you in a way that ain't accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I got from it. And I was just sitting there like, when you be passionate about stuff, like the way that you're perceived and who you actually are, that is important. Like, so like, you don't want to be misrepresented. So I feel like a lot of that was coming from like, you're trying to portray me and portray certain things about me that's just false. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love the way he puts things together. Like he takes his time, and I love the examples that he uses, but he's so much of a thinker.
Right.
And I was sitting there the whole time like, yeah, that makes sense. And then the other thing that I love is not even the interview, but it's the commentary of the people who create content around it, because he's talking about people stealing his jokes. Well, of course, somebody on the internet has found his jokes and showing like people stealing the jokes. That's like, crazy. Yeah, he did do this one first.
But here's the thing, though. Some of the stuff he is saying, what do you think about him saying? Like, and the things, I'm not been in Hollywood or anything like that, but sometimes I do wonder why we see like talented people, but you don't really see them as much. And then there's other people that you see more often. And I know there's probably like opportunities and inner circles and stuff. And without even being in that environment, it just kind of makes sense because that's how everything else is. You ain't even got to be in Hollywood. If you know somebody, you're a step ahead on something. So I would think that transitions to Hollywood of like relationships being extremely important. You know what I'm saying? And if you were to damage them or have issues with important ones, that's got to have an impact on you. Just like even if you're in an accounting circle in the DMV area and you do something terrible, you got to think that it's possible that other companies, other people, it's just how the world works. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like connections, relationships and stuff's important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is, when he sat there and was talking about like stuff he didn't want to do in movies, you know what I'm saying? How there was a script. I know you saw that part where he was talking about it was a script for like Friday After Next, and it was like a rape scene in it. He was talking about, he was like, I didn't want to do that, which I agree. Like, there's nothing funny about rape. There's no real reason to have any rape scene in any comedy. It just takes the energy way off. You know what I'm saying? But as he was talking about that, like, didn't want to be compromised. I kind of believed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I kind of believe that, like, I could see how that could possibly be true. And if you were to say no, sometimes saying no to somebody is not going to go well for you. That makes sense too. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing. But when he was talking also about like parties has been to, some of the stuff that be going on behind the scenes, and I'm just like, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. And I'm like, is he getting making it? You know what I mean? Like, it was super crazy, but
I think it came from a real authentic place.
It did. I know it did.
And he said it. He said that, I don't know if he called it a safe place on the podcast, but he definitely made it seem like a place that he's comfortable sharing.
And it felt like that.
It felt like that. Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that because, we ain't never interviewed anybody on our show or anything like that. But of course, if we did, we'd probably have a format and things we want to ask them and stuff like that. Maybe, maybe not, whatever, But the big part also that I would want to say about that podcast and that Club Shay Shay episode and why it was so like epic is the way that he interviewed him. Because at the same time, he pretty much just let him go. You see what I'm saying? And some people may look at that and say, well, you're not in control of the situation. But one of the things about greatness, and I always believe that in sports players, is like recognizing the moment and rising up to the moment. And maximizing your moments in life. That's all life is a collection of moments. So as you have these different moments, are you maximizing them? If you're down by 3 points with a minute left and you got a chance to win the NBA championship, that's a moment. Yeah. That's a moment.
But I don't think that
you maximize it?
I don't think he recognized it as the moment.
I think he did.
I don't think so because I feel like I saw the fear in him a little bit. He like, Katt. Come on, Katt.
You don't think? And
he was concerned that people weren't going to listen anymore. Like he was like, because he's saying these things. Like if you look at it again, he's saying these things. He's like, come on, Katt. So but he's also got relationships with them other people too. Exactly.
So I do agree.
So
he's
like, oh shoot, the people gonna cancel me after this.
But he didn't.
And Katt's like, no, your show's gonna be greater.
Why didn't he really, like, think about that? Why didn't he stir him? He had a format. This thing is 2 hours long. So I feel like, and again, you know, how your opinion.
He was just as entertained as us. He was presenting
right,
like,
but here's the thing. His interviewed other people that your boys talked about. You know what I'm saying? And in 2 hours, he never was like, hey, let's get back on this. Let's get back on that. You know, he never did that. So I'm just saying that I think that in that moment, I'm not saying sitting there like, oh, I know this is about to be big, let me capitalize on it. But I think he was smart enough and the environment was authentic enough. Like, if you really think about it, it didn't feel like an interview. That's why it worked. It felt like
a conversation.
So he actually has created a platform that's truly conversational. We're seeing other podcasts, we're seeing other shows where the person who's interviewing,
I love that.
Yeah, like, think about it. Like, he wasn't the alpha and he was okay with that. To me, that's, you know what I'm saying? He still had his space. But sometimes you watch other shows and I'm seeing it where it's like the person that's interviewing, they're the one that's also trying to make a little comment here, trying to say something that's funny here, trying to have some type of like focal attention on them. But he didn't do that. He was just there for the ride. It was almost like he was one of us watching it. I agree with that. It was so crazy. So crazy. But I say all that also because, you know, as things succeed, I want to talk about this podcast on this Club Shay Shay episode a little different now because everybody's hopefully seeing it. You're seeing all the crazy stuff Katt Williams was saying. You probably all types of YouTube content out there, people voicing it over and stuff comedically, like, cool, you know what I'm saying? But to me, so many things happen out of that show, that episode, that is like indicative of like what happens when people be successful, yeah. So I thought about it and I'm like, you know, we talked about this before, but like, people be comfortable until they uncomfortable. People be supporting you until you make them uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, look at your boy's episode. Your boy's got like 40 million views in like 6 days or something like that. You know? It's all types of people out there commenting on it.
I know. And it's the
crazy
haters, man. It's
haters just out of nowhere. And the thing is,
you weren't even listening to the podcast.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, when people be hating on you, sometimes the hate is obvious. And sometimes the hate, you just got to really look for it to see it. But it's still hate. Because at the end of the day, nobody's actually going to be talking about it if it wasn't successful. If you didn't have them 40 million views. If you have 500K views, 90% of the people that's commenting saying on how you should have interjected. I saw the guy from the Oldest Smoke podcast, what's his name, Steven Jackson or whatever, which he was talking about, I got relationships with guests. I wouldn't let somebody come on the podcast.
Yeah, I heard that.
Listen, it's a great point, but what is the intention? Like, what is the root of why you're bringing that up right now? Because it is a great point. You are supposed to protect your guest, and you wouldn't want somebody just open season to slander your guests because you got relationships with them. I got that. But why are you making that point now? You probably wouldn't say that at all if the video had 100K views on it. If it weren't no success behind it. The way he's saying it will probably be different. But I'm like, that's hate, yo.
Yeah, but you know how hate works, though, when we're thinking about the internet and social media. Because even with him saying that, he's still drawing attention to it. So it's probably going to get even more views.
Probably, but you know what though? Yeah, I'll tell you what I think. I look at it in a way where, and I'm not, again, if how hard is it to you to watch somebody else be successful? And honestly, it's hard, you know. When you're doing something, it's hard to truly, genuinely be happy for somebody else, especially when it's not happening for you. You know what I'm saying? So if I was to sit there, you could look at it another way. When your boy's sitting there like, oh, I wouldn't let somebody go on my guests like that, etc., etc. You could be branding yourself for future guests because you're letting people know that, oh, well, you could come over here and we ain't about to let people go ham on. I'm telling you, like, the hate was selfish, yo. Like, to the core nature of things was selfish because everybody could just sit back and let your boy have this moment. It's an epic interview. It's an amazing interview. We could just let him have his moment. He made a mistake interviewing him, said the wrong question, didn't bring, who cares? It's successful. You see what I'm saying? We could, in a perfect world, sit back and just clap our hands and be like, yo, that was a really good interview. But we got to have an opinion. We got to have something to say. We got to find some way to deflect, put shade over something. We always gotta dim somebody else's light somehow. Or we're either gonna come in or try to dim somebody else's light, or we're gonna try to distract and bring the attention back to our own light.
I wouldn't have done it that way.
Right. Like, come look at what I would have did.
Right.
But why? Why do we got to do that all the time? You know what I mean? Why can't we be happy with our own success? He's the only one that's got the 40 million interview with Katt Williams. It is what it is. And it was amazing. And it's a moment in time. You could just be happy about it, but people got something to say. And it just kind of made me think, like, the hate, sometimes it could show up as love. It be disguised as love too. People be complimenting you, but at the same time, be minimalizing you while they're complimenting you. You know what I'm saying? I'm had people that sat there, talked about our business and say, hey, you still got that little business? It's going good? That's good. And then I sit back and I'm like, well, what you mean by little business?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like,
well, that's because it's you.
Right. But that's because it's me.
Right.
But what does that mean, though? What does that mean? That means that if I have an existing association or somebody that knows me already, like we talked about, they already have capped what they see you as, period. And you got to accept it. But my point is, like, when you're successful, that's like the time that people be sharing their true colors sometimes, too. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be shocked. You think people's got love for you. You think people's your friend. You think people, you know what I'm saying? It's like two moments that could kind of show you what it is. And it ain't just when you're at your worst. But when you're at your worst, you'll see who's really down for you. But you also see the same thing sometimes when you become really, really successful at something. People be sharing their hands. You know what I'm saying? They can't be there for you when it's the worst. And sometimes they can't be there for you when you're sitting there and like killing it. They kind of, so what does that mean? Like they kind of are comfortable when you're in the middle for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
No, I'm just pondering on what you just said.
Look like you're spacing.
No. I was just thinking like, do I agree with that? And I just started thinking about my mom. I'm like, well, she was there for the best and the worst.
Well, talk to me about that, because it ain't everybody that's like that. It's just it's a small circle, of course.
Yeah.
But it's not everybody. You got to be okay with that. You don't need everybody. You don't be needing everybody to love you. You don't. You got to love yourself. But you don't need everybody to love you. You don't need everybody to love what you're doing. You don't need everybody to support what you're doing. You need people to support what you're doing that actually support what you're doing.
Right.
And you need people to love you that actually love you. And it ain't going to be everybody. And you'd be shocked sometimes when you figure out who it is. You'd be shocked sometimes when you're in a tough moment and you're like, yo, I was able to call this person. I actually got a text from this person that on my birthday, I didn't even know they remember.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody passed in my family and this person's the one that sent me a card first. You be shocked all the time in life. It don't always be who you thought it was going to be. But you're blessed if it was somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that interview was crazy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. If you got something that you're holding on to, you know what I mean? You might have to let that out somehow. You know what I mean?
And what better platform than a podcast?
What better? And the thing is, it was just one of them moments where I'm like, yo, I'm glad I was there. And the way that he was just going in depth and passionate about like, yo, this is what I've been through. And you ain't about to sit up here and put nothing false out there on me. And I'm about to stand on it no matter what anybody thinks. I admire that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not easy to do. And people's going to talk about it and this and that. And, you know, naturally people's going to say, oh, well, why, you know, it's probably angry, his hate, and you know what I'm saying? His and who knows if that's true or not. Whatever.
And I bet a lot of people that's talking probably didn't even hear the whole thing.
Maybe not. Exactly. But because you come out and you say some of those things like that, it doesn't mean that you're sitting there unhappy.
Right.
But that's an easy way for people to paint you. Like, oh, they unhappy. That's why you're talking about it. Like,
it's just my experience.
Yeah, and I'm going to speak on it. But people want to bucket you in like, oh, you're still sold. Like, it's okay to be salty. It's okay to be upset if you think somebody did you wrong. Like, that's okay to do. It then must be like, no, that you're supposed to like get along and show love all the time, but you can't do that all the time.
It's a process.
It's a process. Yeah. Like you just can't do that all the time. And it's even harder to show love and piece it up and say everything's cool when people don't be keeping it real. If that's the case, how are you going to do that? You got to keep it real first. If you ain't keeping it real, we ain't got nothing to talk about. That's what I kind of got from there. It's like, all right, we about to just get through all the fake and get to the real. And you know what, Katt Williams, bro, I ain't never met you in real life. Shannon Sharpe, I never met you in real life, but we needed that. We needed that. We needed that 2 hours, then. We needed that 2 hours. Last thing I'm going to say about that episode, bitch, is actually outside of all the drama, outside of all the crazy stories about people's parties and what they did, sexually and all that crazy. All the comedians stealing jokes, all the comedians selling out, ain't funny, ain't had tours. Like, I mean, all the drama, like, separate from that, here's the most important thing I think he said on that podcast. And if you watch that episode, don't miss this part or you miss the biggest jam in there that you need for your life. And I'm going to just repeat it. He talked about how you could really look and maximize your life. And I really thought about what he said, and it was just perfect. He said, when you end the day at night, you could sit there and really think about it and really treat every day like that could have been it. So he's like, you look at it and you're like, all right, I'm about to go to bed. How we looking? You feel me? He was like, how we looking? That's it. Am I good with it? When you think about that and you're like, if that's how I was going to treat every night before I go to bed, what would I have done during the day before that? To be able to say at night, yeah, I'm happy with that. And every day that would always allow you to be better and better and give it the most that you have. And that's what I remember him saying. And I just sat there and I was just like, it's kind of scary, but we had these kind of conversations. We talk about death now way more than we did. Maybe it was like 20, you know what I'm saying? But like really thinking about it, like, what if that was our moment every night to be like, all right, that's my life. That's my story. That's what I did. That's what I didn't do. You know what I'm saying? And this is it. That's kind of a scary feeling right now. We got so much steel on the table, like so much steel on the burn. And we always think that we got time to address it all.
Yeah.
But we don't. We don't know. We don't know. So all those things that are just sitting out there in space that you're going to pick up later and you're going to do this and you're going to buy this into your, like, that's a great plan. You don't really know if you're going to be able to execute it or not. So you have to maximize every single day. So I thought that was, really, really good. You know what I'm saying? Anything else you remember about the podcast? I sat on that long time, but that joint was crazy good, man. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that he had adopted 7 kids.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. And then he didn't even explain it. He was like, what did he say? If I wanted to be God's friend or something he said when he was talking about the kids.
I don't remember exactly that part.
I don't remember, but he was just saying like,
hey, we got an excuse to watch it again.
Yeah. But he was just saying like, pretty much like he did it because it would make God happy. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't really go into much detail about it, but I was like, wow. So, yeah.
I feel you on that. Mm-hmm. Nah, the other thing, with us ups and downs of life, you know what I mean? We just talked about that podcast and what we got from it. And if somehow you are not one of the 40 million people that's watched it, go ahead and watch it. Like, don't have this be one of their moments that you miss. Go check out Club Shay Shay, Katt Williams. Like, go watch that joint, clean your house, whatever. Just have these speakers up and just find yourself putting the broom down and sitting down and being glued to the damn TV for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? But the other thing, that we was talking about before in another episode, which I want to come back to, is we're making a decision right now for our son. I don't know if we made it yet. So I want to talk about that a little bit. But some of the hard decisions you have to make as a parent or even just a family member, friend, is when you need help from somebody. It might be medical help. It might be developmental health. It might be, psychological health. You need counseling. Like that need for help is challenging for anybody to go and get at any age. And the decision on when to get it, if you need it, is challenging. You know what I'm saying? Now, we haven't talked in a lot of details, but we could talk a little bit today if you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But our youngest son, we've been for, I would say, like the last 8 months to a year, been giving him more and more focus because we see he's delayed in some things. He's not talking yet. Some of the things he does is just behavioral, would introduce us thinking he might have some type of developmental things,
Mm-hmm.
And we have been doing things with like a child therapist and stuff like that to try to get certain skills going, motor skills. I mean, he's running and walking all over the place, seeing his eye contact, if he's actually asking for things, and just trying to look at certain, developmental things that we would expect to see or that he should be at by his age. You know what I'm saying? Milestones. Thank you. You feel me? Milestones. Now, one of the things that has been challenging for us is, do we want to get him tested for like autism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that's been challenging, not because of any thoughts on autism or anything like that, because I think we're willing to go through anything for our kids, and it is what it is. We love them. You know what I mean? But it's when it's the right time. What happens if he's diagnosed? You know what I'm saying? What program would he be on? Is there medicine involved? What it is, not asterisks, but that what is it actually going to mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's been the challenging part. But anybody that's out there that, and we also have a family member that could be, I know we'll reach out to at some point,
Yeah.
But being a part of a community helps. I know that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to my fear of it, and then I want to get your thoughts on it is, and I've talked about this before, but I've been to counseling before. So a lot of men don't want to go to counseling. I was a teenager in counseling, probably why I talk so much. You know what I'm saying? But I've been to counseling, but only recently have I had this experience that's made me more aware of like what's happening now when you actually need counseling or when you go for help. There's a very quick trigger for medicine and medication, like where I don't know what episode I said it, but I had like a 30-minute intro meeting for counseling with somebody. And they actually, one thing I caught that they told me, which was the most key thing that they said was, they said, I'm not your therapist. I'm XYZ, but I'm building your profile and that kind of thing. So they asked me all types of questions, what I'm going through, why do I think I'm there, and all types of stuff. But I knew that she was data collecting. That's what she was doing. She was very clear to me that she weren't my therapist. So I was really confused at the end of the show. I mean, at the end, still talking about the show. At the end of the 30 minutes with her, she gave me a prescription to pick up something from the pharmacy. And that just like,
it makes you think.
It just really like threw me off. And I was like, I couldn't, like, once she said, hey, I want you to pick up this. I can't remember what it was. And she started saying what it would help with right away and da-da-da. I was just sitting there like speechless, done. Because I'm like, how do you even know?
Right. I'm that just trying to find somebody to talk to.
Yeah, I need to start putting something in my body. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That part is crazy. And I know me and you also, even when we went through the COVID experience, like, we take serious. A lot of people disagree with us and, whatever, but like you're putting something in your body, done. Like that's serious. Like, do I want to put a shot in my body that was just created? Period. I get what's happening around me, but like, how much faith do I have in that? If it was just created and now they want me to take it urgently. You see what I'm saying? How much faith do I have in this counseling program if I just met you and you just heard my story and now you want to put me on medicine and put something in my body? So I know when it comes to getting him tested for autism and stuff like that, that's my probably biggest nervous thing is like, if we do it, it's all of a sudden we're not following a program if it involves some type of medicine.
Right.
Because I don't think I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
At all.
And we don't know if it would involve medicine or not.
I don't.
It's a uncharted territory.
It is.
We really don't.
But I know that's one of my big fears,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is it anything else you're thinking? I know we ain't really figured out what we're gonna do, but we're bringing this up here because at the same time, these are the decisions you make as parents. You know what I'm saying? We love our son, and we want to make sure that any diagnosis, anything that we need to learn, we would get it timely, like we're on top of things.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that we give him the time that he needs. We want to make sure we're doing things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure we're not, setting him down a path that, I hate to say it, I'm not a conspiracy thing, but every single thing that involves money, everything involves money. Everything has some type of money element in it. So if he gets diagnosed quick and put on something, that's some type of financial impact too. Mm-hmm. So it's just things to think about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I kind of think about it as well. Like when you're sick and you go to the doctor, they want to give you medication.
Right.
But what about the natural things that you can do outside of medicine? Like you can use food as medicine, So when it comes to making a decision with that, I would like to wait a little bit. And the reason I say that is because, yes, he is showing signs of autism, but at the same time, the teachers, he's worked with 3 teachers, and they believe that it's a little too early to tell, but they also believe that it's developmental delay. So they're like, you can hold off on getting him tested, because if he's tested, more than likely, just by the way they do things, like I've never had him tested, so I don't know the process, but he would get diagnosed with it. But if we give it some more time, because like some of the things that they say is like, well, he has, great eye contact, coordination. What else? He's not talking, but he is, like, you say something to him, like he's trying to talk.
Yeah.
Amongst some other things.
Yeah, he's definitely been...
and he responds to his name. So the teachers have had experience with working with autistic children, and they're saying, well, I just wouldn't be so quick, because I've worked in this atmosphere before, and I've worked with autistic children, and I'm not saying he is, I'm not saying he isn't, but I wouldn't be so quick to take him to get diagnosed. Mm-hmm. So, because if he is autistic, he gonna always be autistic.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And
right.
That too, what, like...
Now, do you feel a way either way? Like, are you on the side of, like, you're hoping that it's not, or you're holding out hope that his, doesn't have any type of delays? Or is it more just, I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing and I'm okay going however this thing shakes out?
It's that one. Because I just look at him and I don't see him any different. And I kind of look at it like, if I have a child with special needs, it's very interesting, because so far, like right now, he does have a developmental delay. So I can say right now, he is a child with special needs. But I kind of feel blessed, like, God, you would give me a child that with special needs, like a child that actually requires more of me. You're so funny. But it doesn't feel any different from the other kids. Like when from the outside looking in, if someone says, my child in the past, okay, before I've experienced it, I'm trying to be clear because I don't want to be offensive to anybody.
Yeah.
But this is just how I used to think before I went through it. Mm-hmm. If someone was like, my child has special needs, I would feel like some empathy, like, man, that must be hard or challenging, or which it is. But the way I perceived it, it's not really how it is.
But see, that's your mindset, though, because the truth is, if he does have delays, or if there is autism or anything like that, he does have something that our other kids don't have. That's factually true. But everything is based on the kind of mindset that you have. And I know as we're getting older, we have even more appreciation for, like, your mindset towards something is everything. Mm-hmm. Because think about it like this. On one side, okay, might have autism. I need to figure out what that means. I might have to do some things differently, whatever the case may be, right? But when you have a child, what's some of the things that you probably hope for the most? You know what I'm saying? You get to experience love from somebody in a way that it's just indescribable. You get to have moments and memories with this person. You have somebody that looks up to you, that often wants to be like you. Someone that smiles at you every time you see them. Somebody that you watch grow from a baby to an adult. Somebody that's a part of you. Something that God has given you that you really didn't do anything on your own, that you have power over. All of that's still true. And at the end of the day, every time we look at him and smile, that feeling is what we have. Mm-hmm. So what really matters if he is autistic or not? It doesn't even really matter. I have a son that loves to play sports. That makes me adjust how I raise him as a father, because now I'm at sporting events. I train him. I coach him. We have to buy him soccer stuff. We got to take him to games. He wants to watch videos. So that's how I'm raising him. In the same breath, I got another son that likes to do word searches. I got to sit at a table and do that. He likes to go to his friend's house. He likes to go get Slurpees. Now I'm changing how I am for him. What's the difference? Now, I might be more familiar with playing soccer and doing word searches and all that. Cool. I got that information. I got that experience. I did it before. But it's the same thing of like adjusting how I am and what I'm doing for somebody I love, which is what I do. I'm daddy.
Right.
So it's cool.
Right.
Don't get caught up in what you're being asked to do, because you can adjust and do it like you do for everything else. And maybe it's something that you're not familiar with. That's what's been happening with us. We've been having to adjust with certain things we're not as familiar with. Makes you uncomfortable. Mental health. We weren't too familiar with how that could look and how that could impact. That's been challenging. Autism. We don't got a whole lot of experience with that. It will feel challenging to adjust to that. But we are people that can adjust. We're people that love. We're people that have big hearts. We're people that sacrifice. We're people that make decent money to be able to help people. So that's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But some are more familiar than others. You know what I'm saying? To that point, I want to thank you for something. You know what I'm saying? Some more parenting advice for y'all out there that's got kids. We're going to give Randy her flowers today, because sometimes, like I said, as you go through life, feel free to be a super success story on your end. But what happens is, if you ain't tapped in with nobody else, you don't get somebody every now and then to call you out on your stuff and help you get back on track when you fall off. That's what Randy do for me. You know what I'm saying? Randy sometimes is the eyes that I ain't got in the back of my head. And when you're going through life, it's all types of stuff happening around you. It's happening in front of you. It's happening on the side of you, behind you. And you can't see everything all the time. But if somebody love you, somebody really got your back. I know you're like, where's he going with this one? But if somebody love you, they really got your back. You feel me? They're looking out at everything. So it's something you said, some parenting advice for everybody. You might be the best father, best mother out there in the world, but you're still a human being. So you have tendencies, you have your own interests. And when you have children, the children that reflect your interests organically get more of your attention. And you help me see that more lately. Now, I love playing ball, playing football, soccer, like they call it in America. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love. I have one son that plays it, loves it, and I coach him. He organically gets all of my time. It's something you did for me on Caleb's birthday when he went 7, which I was about to brush it off until you said it the way you said it. I was upstairs playing FIFA with my son, Christian, early in the morning, like I always do. And you sat there and you was like, hold on, whoa, what you doing? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You was like, what you doing? And I'm like, yo, I'm playing the game. Now, mind you, it's early in the morning. You know what I mean? The day ain't really started yet. And I'm playing the game. And you said a couple things to me. What did you say?
Not today. What'd I say?
That's
all I remember.
You said not today.
It's Caleb's birthday.
It's Caleb's birthday. And you guys do this all the time. And my first response to you was like, yo, it's early. We're going to have his party, blah, blah, blah. And you was like, trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I came back to you again and I said, I gave you that look. And you said, you kept looking at me. You was like, trust me. I know what I'm talking about. So I begrudgingly put the game down. And then I went downstairs on no lie. And I went right. And this is what I don't always do. He didn't even ask me, but I went right to the table. He was doing his word search. And I sat down next to him and I started doing it. Instantly, Daddy, here's a pen. You could do this page and I'll do this page, but I've already done 8 words. So I'm going to have to let you do 8 words so you can catch up. He was instantly activated. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I sat there for 2 hours. For 2 hours, done. From like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. doing word searches. Then you brought another book to him where it was one of those books where you spot the difference between one picture and the next picture, right? So then he goes, hey, Daddy, we're going to finish this word search. Then we're going to go do this book. And then we're going to come back and do more word searches. You know what I'm saying? And that was such a big thing for him. And I had to sit there and realize, like, I love my kids, they saying, but I'm showing favoritism, even though I not got favorites, because I'm still picking me over somebody else. I like ball. So that's how I spend my time. But that was his moment. Sometimes we got to see whose moment it is and be true to that and be all invested. And if you have multiple kids, it's important to do things with them together, but also separately. Make a specific moment for a specific person that's special to you. Not the convenient way, not the way that you like to do it, the things that you enjoy, but prioritize what they enjoy and show up for them. And you helped me do that. And I weren't even seeing it the way I needed to see it. But he was downstairs. And it's crazy. When I look at it, I had one child that was downstairs just waiting to be filled. And I had one child that was already full, just going through the emotions with me. And that wasn't the day for that to happen. Because the child that was waiting to be filled, it was his birthday. You know what I'm saying? And I had to come and not just fill it, but overfill it. I'm not going to sit down for 2 hours every time. Right. But that was the day to do it.
That was the day to do it.
We got to realize when people are sitting there waiting for us to show up. You know what I'm saying? We got to be more aware, because when you do show up, it shows. If you're a father out there and you're not active in your kid's life, that's something that is happening every single day of your kid's life. And I'm going to just keep it real. My example was just my child's birthday. But if you're a father that has a child that you're not active in their life, all that your child is, no matter how strong they come on their end, no matter how much they put Band-Aids on to navigate through life and whatever, they will always be like my son. Just one conversation, one moment away from being filled. The waiting to be filled. So I want to, to everybody that's fathers out there, like, no matter what your kids say, no matter how it's been, no matter how long it's been a way that you don't like, there's nothing that changes. That child is waiting to be filled by you. And every day that you don't feel it is another day that their bucket is empty. You know what I'm saying? And that reminded me of, I got to make sure that and even with Kirby too, I got to make specific moments to make sure everybody's thing is full. That's what happens. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you doing that for me, because I was about to miss it, but I'm glad I didn't miss it. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're welcome.
For sure.
You gave me that look though when I came in there. Like,
I know, because but here's the thing. When people come get you out of your comfort level and take you from what you prefer to do to something else, you don't be happy about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the right thing to do, the most impactful thing to do, is not what you actually want to do at that time. But that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
A lot of the times what you should be doing is what you don't want to do or what you're not used to doing. And that's why you're not where you want to go. Because if I want to go somewhere that I'm not at, I got to start doing things I haven't did before. You know what I mean? Or doing them harder, or doing them longer, or doing them more consistent.
Yeah. Well, something that's going to take Caleb out of his comfort zone is that he's going to go to soccer camp.
I know. Why all of a sudden does he want to go to soccer camp? Where did that even come from?
Well, he doesn't want to go.
Oh.
He doesn't want to go, but he's going because he's expressed interest in playing soccer before, but he's a little intimidated, as he should be, because you play soccer, his older brother plays soccer, and he's like, I don't know about this, but it's just a soccer camp for a day while he's out of school.
That's what's up.
So I'm excited to see
have fun.
how he goes. Yeah. How it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me too. Anything else with you today? I know we've been on here for a minute, man.
Nope. Just about to run this payroll.
All right. Well, look, you guys got to get to work. But listen, y'all, if y'all first time checking out our podcast, make sure you subscribe. Quiet Money Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Like, just support the show. Follow us on TikTok. We on YouTube. We everywhere. But me and Randy, we just be super real about the ups and downs of everything in life. And we are perfect people to share that with you because we do so much stuff together. Like I always say, business, money, relationships, kids, failing together, succeeding together, health things, lost family members together, created family members together, raised other people's family members together. We do everything. And as we're being successful, we do have tough times too, and we be transparent about that. You know what I'm saying? Follow us. We want to hear from you. You know what I mean? We're going to come back at some point as we go through this journey to see if, we want to get our son tested for autism and that kind of thing. And I know that is such a huge community. I will want to hear from anybody. You have advice. You had to make this decision before, whether to get them tested or not. You got information on programs. Let us know. We transparent like that. That's why we're here. And that's how we get through life. We get through it sharing with each other. As we make mistakes, as we do things well, we share and we care. And that's how we all get better. Right, Bear?
Mm-hmm.
Till next time. Peace.
Make sure you follow Quiet Money Podcast on all streaming platforms that have podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Leave comments on our videos. Let us know what you're going through, ups and downs. We want to hear from you. We engage with you. And we'll see you next time. Peace.